What do you call privacy? What does privacy mean to you? What is the value of privacy? You know, at the founding of this country, we didn't even use the word privacy because it meant toilet functions. People would use the privy. If somebody wanted to leave the room to go to the outhouse, and they were out in the 1770s, they'd say, "Excuse me, I need a moment of privacy." That's why it's not in the Constitution. The Fourth Amendment doesn't say privacy because it would have meant the right to bodily excretion. But they did understand the concept, and we should now. But it is vanishing fast. Valerie Birch is with us. She's an attorney with the ACLU of Pennsylvania. ACLUPA.org is the website. The ACLU of Pennsylvania has filed a federal lawsuit against a school district in that state on the basis of a particularly bizarre case. Valerie, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Now, let me get this right. This teenage girl is at school, and she was using her cell phone inappropriately at a time that she wasn't supposed to. They confiscated her phone, right?
That's exactly right.
And then they started digging through her phone, and in an area where you couldn't even normally see it. They must have subjected it to some kind of forensic test, because these photos that were on her phone of herself showing her naked breasts, of herself, these photos were not even in an area where they could easily be found on the phone. Do I have that right?
That's right. They would have had to have made several clicks through several folders to access this.
Okay. And then they charged her with what? What happened to this girl?
She was threatened. The phone was handed over to the police, and it was supposedly given to some crime lab. And then she was threatened with child pornography offenses.
For taking pictures of herself?
That's exactly right.
And she was not sending these pictures to anybody. The idea was that maybe her longtime boyfriend might see them on her phone, if I get this right?
Yeah, she was considering that.
But she hadn't done anything?
No. They were on her personal phone and not disseminated to anyone.
And now the police have seen these pictures of her? The guys in the district attorney's office have seen these pictures of her. The people in the school have seen these pictures of her. It seems to me like she's the violated party here.
Absolutely. She is the victim of an abuse of power.
And where, you know, at what point, we're talking with Valerie Birch, an ACLU attorney in the state of Pennsylvania, at what point do we the people say, this is where the bright edge of privacy is? It seems like over the last 40, 50, 60 years, it has changed so dramatically. Any easy answers to that, or even any explicit thoughts on that, Valerie?
Well, certainly the line should be drawn to protect our client. This is an obvious no-brainer, in my opinion. Yeah. The government had no right to see these naked pictures of this teenage girl.
Okay.
When she hadn't even shared them with anyone.
Right, but let's even take it a little larger than that. Mm-hmm. I think it was 1965 was the case in Connecticut. Was Griswold versus Connecticut, as I recall? The contraceptive case.
Yes.
There was a worker for Planned Parenthood who was going to be put in prison for discussing the use of condoms with a married couple, because that was against the law in the state of Connecticut. And one of the justices, I don't have the story in front of me, I don't recall the name of the justice, one of the justices said there is no explicit right of privacy in the Constitution. Clarence Thomas, as recently as 3 years ago, reiterated that. How do we define privacy in our society legally? Where are the beginnings and ends of this?
Well, the government, under the Fourth Amendment, must have probable cause to search. That's where our client gets her privacy right from here.
Right, and it's probable cause, not just probable cause, but probable cause attested to by a witness swearing under oath.
Right. So I don't understand how using your cell phone on school property to make a phone call has anything to do with a search for child pornography.
Or anything.
Or anything, exactly. And so that I don't agree that the Constitution contains no language to protect our privacy, and I think everyone would agree that that's not an accurate statement of the law.
Well, Clarence Thomas would disagree with you.
Yes, I I suppose he would. But the Fourth Amendment is what protects our privacy. Sure, like you said at the beginning of the show, the word privacy isn't used, but that's exactly what the Fourth Amendment protects.
Right. It was the word privacy didn't come into common use the way that we use it today until after the 1880s when Thomas Crapper invented the flush toilet and we stopped referring to toilets as privies. I'm serious. And it's a fascinating the etymology of that word. But the reality is that the right of privacy is, well, in fact, President Obama famously said that the Constitution is a bill of negative rights. He was attacked by the right-wingers for that, but really it is. What the Constitution says is these are the areas where government can creep into our lives, but in all other areas, all rights are with the people. And therefore, the right of privacy is absolute. So now we have this case where this seems to me like a camel's nose under the tent. I don't know your thoughts on for example these airport scanners and screeners and things, but it seems to me that there's a whole spectrum of areas now where our rights to privacy are being eroded, and we're being trained to go along with it.
Yes.
Do you think I'm being alarmist?
No, not at all. Certainly, as security concerns increase, our privacy rights decrease. And here, it seems that a lot of school administrators and district attorneys are on the hunt for sexting pictures of teens. And they really need to stop and think before they search. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, well, and in that case, in that area, 1 out of 3 teens, according to a recent study, has indicated that they have taken with their phone or sent or received to their friends naked photos of themselves or a friend. And in most of these cases, these children, if they were caught, could be considered sex offenders and their entire lives would be ruined.
Exactly. This is not something the government has any business getting involved in. This is something for parents to deal with.
Right. Yeah, this, absolutely. This is, in fact, that's the perfect point. Valerie Birch, ACLUPA.org. We have 3 kids, they're not, elementary school age any longer, but if something like this happened, if a teacher took the phone of one of my kids and found inappropriate content on it, that in and of itself, I'm not sure at that point is something that I would be terribly horrified by. If that teacher called me as the parent and said, come on down and get the phone and you need to look at what's on your kid's phone.
Right.
And that was the end of the conversation. I might be a little concerned, but I think that there's established precedent that kids don't quite have the rights that we all have in a school environment. But to turn this over to the police and to share it with everybody else and turn this into a criminal offense, this is so wrong.
It's taking the issue farther than it should go. Right. This girl hadn't even shared the photos. Right. And certainly even a child who does share the photos, this is for the parents to deal with. Yeah. And to bring child pornography offenses, charges against these kids, it's using atomic weaponry to fight crabgrass in your lawn, basically. Yeah. I mean, these kids, their lives will be ruined. Yeah,
and many have already, actually.
Exactly.
Valerie Birch with the ACLU, ACLUPA.org. If you want to read all about the case, good on you for filing this federal lawsuit. I wish you the very best with it.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Valerie, and appreciate the call.